Hi, folks. This is going to be a little different than my normal content. So, if you're a subscriber to my channel on cybersecurity topics, this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be about healthcare and some personal journey things that I'm doing. But I wanted to share my experience with Prenuvo. I don't know how many folks have heard about Prenuvo. But I'm going to talk about my experience with Prenuvo. So I'd call this maybe part one of what could be a multi-part video. I've been wanting to do a Prenuvo scan for a while, and I'll talk about why a little bit later. But I researched other options that are out there, including Ezra, Simon One, and every other option that was available within sort of a 2-hour radius along the way before I landed on Prenuvo. And you might ask, why did I land on Prenuvo? Well, during my research process, there were a few things that turned me off about some of the other providers. First, from a Simon One perspective, I couldn't get any answers to the questions that I repeatedly emailed in. I felt like their service might have been on par. It certainly was a lot cheaper than Ezra and Prenuvo, but I couldn't actually get a handle on creating a real non-influencer comparison towards, readability of results and so forth to a layman, if you will, a non-medical person like myself. From an Ezra perspective, I think they were pretty close with Prenuvo, but I was really turned off by the fact that they didn't own their own facilities. When I dug into it on Reddit, I started reading conflicting information about the quality of different centers or people's perceptions of how the service was depending on the center that they went to. My doctor's office, I'm not going to say the name, they actually started to partner with Prenuvo, and they had a nice discount that I could use. So I thought, I'm going to give this a shake now. I've been saving up for it in my HSA, and I wanted to do it, so I did it. So I ended up scheduling an appointment less than a week out at the New York City Prenuvo location. The prep instructions were really pretty simple. No food or drink 4 hours before the scan. It helps them get clearer images. I got a healthcare survey reminder via email that I just had to fill out on their website. It took a little while to fill out, right? It contained information about cancer, medical history for close relatives, grandparents, heart health, diabetes, those sorts of things, and some of my own personal medical history. Filled all that out. Might have taken me 30 to 40 minutes, and I might have been interrupted along the way. I noted that I didn't have any medical implants. And then, I simply showed up 15 minutes before my designated appointment. So I'm not an influencer. I'm not being paid to do this. This is going to be a bit unfiltered, if you will, in terms of my perspective. So I will say when I arrived at the facility, it was incredibly clean. I was greeted as soon as I walked in the door by the front desk. I think the only real negative experience from a facility perspective happened right when I walked in the door, and it was probably a one-off. The manager of the facility seemed to be disciplining one of the front desk staff right there in front of the lobby, and it was a little bit awkward for me. Like, I didn't want to hear the conversation. I tried to tune it out. I am a leader. It's not something that I would ever do to one of my staff members in public. And I don't want to blame the manager because I'm not sure if it was the manager or if the front desk person was pressing the conversation with the manager in an inappropriate sort of space. But it really wasn't awkward for too long because I really only waited about 5 minutes in the lobby. Check-in was fast and efficient, right? They ask you at check-in what size pajamas or sweats that you wear. I really had no clue, so he kind of sat there and went back and forth, XL, double XL, no problem. And they asked what kind of content I would like to be entertained by once the scan started. But I think maybe I sat in the lobby for 5 minutes. Once the 5 minutes was up, I was taken back to a private locking room to sort of discard my things. I had a laptop with me, so forth, to keep me busy because I took Amtrak from central Pennsylvania into the city. But I was taken back to this private locking room. I put the PJs on, put my stuff down. They give you some foot booties to put on. Got all the metal off my body, my watch. I don't think I was wearing a necklace, but you got to get all the metal off your body. From there, all they have you do is reopen the door to indicate that you're ready to go and ready to proceed with the test. I would say about a minute after I opened that door, the tech came back and grabbed me. She said, Do you want to use the bathroom one last time before you go in for this scan? I didn't have to. I hadn't eat or drank anything for 4 hours, so I was pretty darn cleared out. So not a ton of time to sit and think about the things that are going to go on in the MRI room. I can't say that's the same at every location, but for me, it was really, really quick. So I chose to chill out with some modern jazz on Spotify. I think Netflix is an option also. So when the tech took me into the MRI room, I didn't really count the number of private MRI rooms, but they are private MRI rooms. There are quite a few there. With recollection, maybe 4 to 6. It was about a week ago. When we entered the room, she explained to me the entire process. She had me lay on the MRI table. She placed some sort of devices and cages on top of my body that she explained to me enhance or improve the overall image quality. She put headphones on me to listen to Spotify, and I was pleasantly surprised. She even played some YouTube videos for me of beaches rolling by while I was, listening to jazz music. So that was all pretty serene. She left the room. If you've ever had an MRI before, you know that they go into another sort of room and the test began. Anyone that's had an MRI before knows the test isn't noise-free. That's certainly also true here. I could hear the banging of the MRI doing whatever the MRI does. And then there's a few instances during the MRI where the system itself would speak to me and ask, inhale, exhale, hold, and they do that for clearer pictures, as I understand it, of your torso. The tech that was working with me continued to let me know over the headphones how much time I had left. I did the full body scan, and I really think it was only about 50 minutes, 55 minutes in length. No problems at all. I might have wiggled or sneezed or whatever a few times, and they took another image for clarity's sake, but they let me know if they had to do that. I think that only even really happened one time that I recall. When the test was done, the table slides out of the MRI. They come in, they release you, they walk you back to your private room. You get changed, grab your stuff. They wait for you to unlock your door again. You unlock the door and you're led to a little area that's got all the snacks and drinks that you want. You can use the bathroom again. I didn't take advantage of any of that, so I can't tell you about what snacks were there because I had the opportunity. It was so quick, painless, that I had the opportunity to catch an earlier train back to Pennsylvania than what I was originally scheduled for. They also give you a packet of information on your way out the door and let you know that it's going to be about 2 weeks for the images to be read, at which time they will schedule an appointment with you with a nurse practitioner to go over the results. My personal wellness doctor also gets the results directly, which I think is pretty cool. So I guess sort of last 2 points. Why did I do it? And second, would I change anything about the experience so far? I haven't gotten the results yet, so I can't talk about that piece of it. First, I did it because I have what's called ITP. My body doesn't produce the same amount of platelets as a normal human being, and I've had this condition for a number of years, and I've never really found an answer as to why, with any hematologist or other specialist, why this just suddenly happened to me midway into my life, and why it's never cleared up. Also, because my platelet counts aren't at a dangerous level, nobody's really ever willing to do more testing beyond sort of a standard suite of things that they do for ITP. Research would tell us that ITP is often secondary to something else going on in the body, so I thought, why not take the opportunity to see if anything else is going on that we can visually see without paying for diagnostic MRIs of every single body part between my head and torso and trying to get all that approved through insurance, the nightmare that those things are. I've also been dealing with some unexplained pain in various parts of my body that seems to be a total mystery to me. So I decided this was a cost-effective way to see if anything else is up, that might explain some of the odd medical issues that I've had over the years. I know this can also lead to a number of incidentalomas, right, as my doctor calls them. I'm not the type that has super high anxiety over medical issues. I can deal with findings. I have a lot of medical professionals in my family. And as I understand it, when I actually get the test results, they'll say, hey, this is normal and you really don't need to worry about it. And maybe this is not, and you should do some follow-up testing. However, I'm not there yet, so I can't tell you what my experience with any of that is. So I view this and tests like Grail, so that's the blood cancer test that can detect up to like 500 different types of cancer preemptively in your blood, as sort of the next frontier in diagnostic medicine. I have read more opinions than probably most people on YouTube of people saying that this isn't medically necessary, it's a waste of money, blah, 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 blah. I don't feel that way. I feel like if you have the money and you're able to do so, it's a great thing. I've seen a number of friends and family that have died from cancer, that might have been saved if it was detected a bit sooner. So to me, it was worth it to save up the $100 bi-weekly in my HSA to pay for the test. I'm also fortunate to work for a company that loads money into my HSA, which makes these sorts of things even more accessible. So what would I change? Beyond the experience in the lobby, which I'm sure was a one-off, I'm not thrilled so far that there's no multi-factor authentication on the website. And this is a cybersecurity thing, but I don't want my health information living just behind a web page that doesn't have any additional controls. It doesn't feel super HIPAA friendly to me. And maybe I am wrong here. Maybe when the results come, there will be additional protection behind those results. But I can tell you I can log in on any device with a username, password, and view my clearance forms, all the things that they had me sign. So that doesn't feel super cybersecurity conscious either. I don't see the option anywhere. I've looked around in profile and so forth. But I really think Prenuvo needs to get on the cybersecurity game, whether it's an authentication app, a second factor via email, text, whatever. It should be more than just username and password by default. It should be something that they force. I think that's something that they could work on there. I don't think Prenuvo wants to end up in the news if somebody launches a password spray attack, for instance, against Prenuvo's website. I haven't gotten the results yet, so I'll have more to say on that later. So that's what I feel about it so far. So far, a really positive experience. I'm looking forward to seeing the results. If you want $300 off a scan, you can use my referral code in the description below. Again, I'm not being paid for Prenuvo. I didn't get a discount from Prenuvo to record a video. Just my thoughts on the experience so far. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helped you make a decision one way or the other. Just trying to give back based on all the things I was able to watch on YouTube and Reddit. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.